This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Great Southern Copper announced exceptional assay results from its first drill hole CNG25DD001 in Phase 1 drilling at the Mostaza mine, part of its Cerra Negro Project in Chile. The key findings included 20 metres at 3.31% copper and 269 grams per tonne silver from 27 metres depth, and a richer 7 metre section at 5.72% copper and 489 grams per tonne silver, and a peak at 6.62 copper and 562 grams per tonne silver. Well, joining us now is Sam Garrett, the CEO of Great Southern Copper. So Sam, thank you very much for your time. How are things and how are you feeling with these grades that are over 600% higher than those reported nearby in the historical drill hole?
Yeah, it sounds really good when you say it like that, doesn't it? I'm very well, thanks. And we're very pleased to put out those results. We have been alluding for quite some time, or since we drilled the holes, basically, we put out lots of news on the story and how it was evolving. The followers of us had pretty good indication of what was coming, I thought. But the release itself has been very well received. So, we're really happy about that. And I think, I did use the adjective exceptional results, and I feel that is accurate, given both copper and silver results individually made it onto the top 10 scoreboards for that week. So put them together and they're even, you might say, spectacular.
Yeah, strong words there, Sam, strong words. But in an RNS to see exceptional is rare, but good to see. Now, that 600% increase on the historical grade, so I mean, that's pretty big here. What do you attribute that to? Is it better assay techniques, or was it simply that the historical data was perhaps not very accurate?
But it's hard to know because we don't have access to the original data per se, and that's why we had to drill that hole to confirm those results. We were in the data library that we were given when doing the due diligence on this project. We were given a report, but it didn't have the original data backing it up. So, hence the requirement to drill this kind of hole. And their hole, EDH25, announced or reported 25 metres of about 0.53% copper, and they didn't assay silver over the full interval. So, it was important that we were, and that's quite a good result. It was certainly encouraging for us, and that's why we took the project on, amongst other reasons. But to get such a high degree of increase, I would have to say it's pretty rare. I don't know that I've ever seen it before. So, I guess we need the results to come in for our next holes to confirm that level of increase continues. These systems, there's going to be high parts of the load and lower parts, and there might even be parts where it sort of pinches out. But we were within meters of that original intercept, so it was really, really encouraging for us. We've got a hole due to release which has been drilled under that again, so that'll be interesting to see how that comes out too.
Indeed. So are we waiting patiently for those, or are you sort of quietly confident that the trend will continue across all the other 8 holes?
Well, we've given very clear reporting of what we're sort of expecting without mentioning visual estimates, because you always get into trouble with that. But we've given good indications of the widths of the intersections. And so we're still expecting good grades. In particular, hole 7 looks particularly good. We've made important note throughout the RNSs of the appreciation of copper in the hole, in the holes. Sorry. So this first hole hit chalcocite and bornite, which are minerals, copper minerals, which have a very high concentration of copper within the mineral. Other minerals, so chalcocite, for example, has 2.5 times the copper in it that the equivalent amount of chalcopyrite would have, for example. So obviously that's going to influence our future targeting along that trend that we're hoping to drill out. So each hole will deliver new and important information, and we'll keep building on all of that.
Okay. And are you planning to release the remaining drill holes? When can we expect them to start coming through? And will they be individually or in batches?
The holes will come through individually, but we will probably release them now in batches because it becomes quite it's not tedious, but it's a lot of work putting out releases for every hole. So we'll probably put them out in batches, see how that goes. And we're going to be very busy over the next couple of months. We've got new programs starting up. We've got metallurgy starting. There's a lot of work to do.
Indeed. And you've recently, just this morning, completed a raise, £1.5 million there. So that's a decent amount of money to raise in these markets at this time where some raisers are struggling to get away. And I think you told me before we started recording that you had to cut some people back. So, I mean, clearly there's appetite for what you're doing out there.
Yeah, that's right. It has been a very difficult time, not just for us, for everybody, hasn't it? And it's particularly disappointing for me today. I had to cut myself back. So that was really annoying. This is the benefit you have from drilling, and you create your own luck. And if you believe you have a good project, which we believe from the beginning, and you work hard and you explore efficiently, which has been sort of our mantra from the beginning, because we've never had a lot of money. So it's always been about efficient exploration strategy. So it's been really pleasing, the result that we've been delivered as a result of those assays, and long may it continue.
And that money will then be going to effectively continue the exploration program here.
That's right. We will have 2 rigs on site fairly soon. So already, that's a good signal, isn't it? We've stepped up the intensity. We're going to be doing metallurgy. We're going to be doing geophysics.
Okay.
Some of that money is also obviously going to go towards paying the annual option fees and tenement concession fees. So, that's important. We want to make sure we own what we've got. But pretty much the focus for that money is going to be on Mostaza and Cerra Negro environs. But there will be important exploration continuing on the broader Especularita lithocap. Because it's crucial that we continue with that work, because that's an enormous area, and we need to keep the hope alive that we're going to find more of these Mostaza type systems.
Yeah, okay. Well, I remember that feature we did when you talked about all the different deposit types you have over the huge area that you've got there, but the focus is going to be on Mostaza, but you're not forgetting effectively about the bigger picture here. And I noted that the RNS, indeed, I noticed that the RNS mentioned that the mineralization was open in all directions, a potential 1 to 2 kilometer strike. I mean, what's your best case vision for the size of Mostaza and the grade profile and how it compares to perhaps other regional deposits?
Yeah, that's a $64 million question. And look, we can talk to that. It's pretty early in the system, but we can talk to it. We have recognised the mineralisation trending over a distance of about 4 kilometres. We've intersected high-grade mineralisation over a width of 20 metres. And we've got a rough idea of the variability in the grades. So if you look at peer comparisons, for example, if you take the high end Sandfire's discovery hole at De Grusa was roughly the same grade as we've just intersected. Now they're a $5 billion company as we sit here today. But if we are looking towards that sort of scale of project, you only need a deposit that's 1 kilometre long, 10 metres wide, and 400 metres deep to get about 10 million tonnes. And that is with these grades, that's a very nice deposit from surface. So, if we just take it to 200 metres, and you look at that 4 kilometre stretch and you say, well, we might have 4 or 5 areas of 250 metres each making up 1 kilometre, those pods type systems, then that's 5 million tonnes of high grade, which is, a good mine. So that's the sort of, we've got we feel at the moment we've got line of sight towards a 5 to 10 million tonne deposit. But, you have to be cautious with that kind of statement at this stage. That's what we want to aim for. But there's a lot of work and a lot of hurdles in the way to get us there.
Yeah, indeed. And just a final thought then, I noticed that the market did respond very well, that the chat boards were really quite excited about that news that came out. You're quite busy then, you're going to continue with the drilling, you're doing met studies as well. So what does the next sort of 2 to 3 months look like in terms of activities on the ground for the project, and then what the market can expect in terms of announcements?
That's a good question. And subject to everything going right, we will hope to be rolling 2 rigs onto the site by next week.
Okay.
So they will have, a couple of thousand metres to drill there. Then we might take another pause. That will give us more material for metallurgy studies. The metallurgy studies, I think, we can achieve very quickly and pretty cheaply. So good to get that out of the way now, so that we understand this deposit is worth having a crack at. There's no point spending everyone's money if it's not going to work. And then, behind all that, and in parallel, we've got the deep-looking geophysics that we want to get started on. And if anyone's been following our past releases, we've got a lot of these sort of high-grade structures further off to the east that have never been drilled. So, we've got a lot more sort of detailed geology to put together with a view to, drilling more of these structures.
Right, okay. And I guess the overall objective is to prove up an economical resource by finding the deposit, first of all, with the drills, and then testing the metallurgy to see if you can actually make an economic product out of it. And that's, I guess, the ultimate aim of any explorer, but you're well on the way to do that.
Yeah, we're on the way. And, we're in the right country. We've got a good, excellent jurisdiction. We're close to the coast, so we're near to all the infrastructure. We've got a sealed road running right past the project. We've got power. We've got towns, everything we need. We're not going to have to pay cleaners $100,000 a year to fly in and fly out and to be in the room. So, all those things are important for a junior like ourselves, and just makes the exploration a lot cheaper than having to work at 4,000 or 5,000 metres in the Andes.
Indeed. Well, Sam Garrett, CEO of Great Southern Copper, thank you very much for your time today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.